forward to tonight's programming, and I want to now pass it on to Rosemary to give us a quick introduction of what meditation actually is and how we can go about it on a day-to-day basis to calm the mess that is in our brain.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Shay's Warriors Talk, Listen, Share. It's a great pleasure to introduce Cecily Elmas, who is a lead coach, facilitator, and leader in visioning, in practicing meditation and yoga, and incorporating that into her coaching skills. She has 15 years of experience in guiding people into a much better place. So she is a certified personal coach, yoga mindfulness teacher, and she is exceptional at hosting impactful and introspective experiences. And she practices and works with organizations across North America and Canada. So we are very honored to have an evening to listen to Cecily inform us about the benefits of yoga and how they are reaching into the medical community. As a nurse, I know that throughout literature, the benefits, research, and advantages of truly incorporating meditation into cancer care have proven to be bold and very, very beneficial in improving the quality of life for people who have been going through cancer treatment. And as everyone knows, cancer treatment can extend on and on and take many different shapes. So sleep disorders, anxiety, fear, fatigue, depression. These are some of the areas, just a few of the topics that we know are benefited from good meditative practices and being able to have someone inform us about meditation. And the wonderful thing about tonight is we all get to participate. So we will put on our meditation hats and be led by Cecily as well. So with this, I will hand this microphone over to Cecily.
Thank you so much. It's always so nice to join groups and be here and share some things that I'm passionate about. This is a bit new for me where I'm not really seeing anyone. So just so you know, I trust you're out there and doing what you need, listening. If you have a pen and paper, that always helps. And if you have a space that you're sitting in, I invite you to, I'll just show you what I have, light a candle. So one of the first things that I will share is my path to meditation, because when I talk about meditation, and before you all joined, we were kind of like, we need it. This is so perfect. People feel like there's winning. And what I want to ease your mind with meditation is it's not about getting anywhere. And it's not about becoming great at it. That each time we come to a practice of quieting our minds and tuning into breath, it can be a very anxious experience because it's the first time, maybe all day, all week, all month, that we're tuning in and listening. So sometimes the more quiet we get, the louder things can become. And I want you to know all is normal. So first, before I go into some more about the benefits of meditation and then our experience, we'll kind of do an experience and drop in, is how I got there. I, years ago, when I was 20, so over 20 years ago, I didn't know what meditation was. And my family, I'm from a family of lots of women. They were yogis and they practiced yoga, and I hadn't yet come to terms with what yoga was for me. I was a professional dancer in a place in Canada, and I found yoga in New York one summer when I was dancing there. And I dropped into this space where I was asked to really be free from my thoughts. And it was the first time that I could hear my thoughts and tune into what is going on in my mind. And so my practice over the years was up and down. 5 a.m., people were meditating, and I would go, "What is this?" And I resisted it. I resisted it. And then years later, coming closer to now, I did this course on mindfulness based stress reduction. And it was the most beautiful course that I took because they slowed everything down for me in my life. And it was the first time that I really understood the benefits. And I'm going to share some that really stood out. And then this will help us understand why. Why, is it so important to make some time during this healing process? You know, life after cancer, understanding what now. This is a really nice practice to cultivate, even if it's for 30 seconds to 5 minutes. Sometimes the time constraint can come on us, and we think that we need to do 30 minutes a day or not at all. And what I really encourage all of us to do, and I say this to myself all the time, any amount of time is good. So, the first thing that it really did for me when I got into this practice of meditation is it increased my focus. So there's so many things going on in the world. Not only do we do so much, the world is really set up for us to be busy. We think, even more than we do. So this is the practice where I learned, wow, my focus, mindfulness, doing one thing at a time really, really was loud for me. Better sleep. So, Rosemary shared this, and it really does help people sleep. Lately, I've been working with some clients around waking up at 3 a.m. And so, when we look at what is getting us up, or what keeps us up at night, this can be one of those solutions to drop in and do a quick meditation that has this really beautiful impact. So the sharpen concentration, right? Sharpen focus. This all leads to productivity. And so we are very productive, right? Over efforting in our lives. And this will help us understand what's essential, right? What is essential for me to do today? I'm going to keep looking through this. So, breath. We breathe. We breathe every moment. And I definitely know that's not taken for granted here, right? Breath is life. It's so important. And what meditation can do is get us to drop in and say, now, what is the quality of my breath? We're asked really often, how are you? Right? Sincerely, how are you? And sometimes we just don't know. And so if you can take one moment every morning, right? Rise, P, meditate, RPM. If you can do that and go, what is going on for me today? Checking in with yourself, you'll understand. So it's checking in with the quality of your breath. This one is really important, and meditation can support us in these downward spiral thoughts. So sometimes it feels really heavy and hard. And when we can go into this seat, it can be standing. It's just a moment of stillness to check in with your breath. This can help get everything to this upward spiral place where it's not all rosy. However, you feel really at home with yourself. Okay, so I want to kind of just pause there and ask you all, and you can put it in the chat. You can ask us a question, and I'd like for you for a moment to think about, what is meditation to you? And the reason why I'm not saying what is your meditation practice is because most often when I say that, people say I should. And anytime we think we know or we should, it's not something we want. It's not something we know why it's time for it yet. Okay, so here it is. What is the best time to meditate? Is it different for a cancer survivor? So I would ask you, what are the challenges with different times of day to meditate? For anyone in the world, I think that you need to understand what your time is. If you are clearest in the morning, or you know you have time in the morning, uninterrupted time where it's quiet, that is the best time to meditate. And if you have 5 minutes, do 5 minutes. If sleep is a stressor, going to bed, right? Because a lot of fears can come up or stress before bed, then what I would say is it's time to do a routine to calm yourself. And then you sit on your seat. I'm calling it wherever you choose to sit. It could be a cushion. Elevate your seat because your legs can get tired and tight. And you sit there at night and you just go through your day and you can release some of the things from your day. Now, different ways to meditate. And please, if you have a question, you can pop it in there or a comment. um, Different ways to meditate. Some people believe, and this is what stops us from even starting, some people believe that you need to not think. And so I'm here to tell you, you have thoughts. You will have thoughts come in. Now, the best thing to practice is to focus on your inhale, focus on your exhale. And if these thoughts come through, you see them float by like a filing cabinet. And what tends to happen is if it's the first time that you've sat to listen all day, we can grab a thought and then go do. And so in meditation, instead of the do, do, which is life, do and then be and then do, meditation is the time to be, be. And so you might get clear on oh, I need to do that, or I need to book this appointment, or and this is the time for you. So it's your sacred time to be. I'm going to pause there and just see if did anything come up for you there? And then I'll touch on, is there a best time for a cancer survivor? I So I have a very long history, and it's still ongoing, of women in my family who are survivors. And I want you to know I've been with them, throughout it all, my mother especially. And we practiced meditation while she was going through chemo, while she's surviving chemo. And now, as different things pop up, it's really important for me and her to sit and say, have you done your practice today? Have you rolled out your mat? Have you sat in meditation? And sometimes it gets pushed away because it doesn't seem important. And it is the thing that'll keep everyone grounded and understanding and connected. Because sometimes we can feel so alone. And this is the practice that as you sit there and drop in, you can energetically connect to people, connect to thoughts, connect to feeling, which then brings me to this mantra. And it's a mantra is a word, it's a vibration, it's a sound. And sometimes our negative thoughts can take over and we start to believe them. And so, with this sound or sentence, I'd love to offer, and if you have a pen right now, you can create the sentence that you can use in every meditation that you do for the next week. And maybe it switches for the week after. And so, what it could sound like is, I am love, I am healthy, I am alive. And you could repeat that for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, depends on, your practice. I want to set us up for, how would you meditate at home? How would you meditate wherever you are? Meditation doesn't have to be seated. Meditation can be standing. Meditation can be walking. Meditation can be in a stressful environment where you need to tune into yourself for a moment. So, no, it can show up in so many different ways. Now, this one will be for a seat, and then we'll practice it. So, first things first, I love to have a quiet space, and it is helpful. We were talking about this before we started, that it is quite challenging if things are noisy. In meditation, we say, though, embrace the noise, just don't attach to it. So, if your kids are running around, your family, your neighbors, construction, it's not to stop, it's not an excuse not to do it. It's a time to close your eyes and go in and just try to tune it out as much as possible, not letting it distract you. So find a quiet space. Find a space that works for you. If it's not quiet, find out how to work with it. The second thing is choose how you want to be. When I first started that meditation, those 5 a.m., in this ashram, it's like a yoga center, and people woke up 5 a.m., didn't have coffee, which was really challenging for me. And we would sit there at 5 a.m. and I would nod off. And so I don't know if you've ever tried meditation and felt really sleepy in it. If you are going to fall asleep, it's best to lay flat. And if you lay flat, it's best to stay awake in your meditation, not fall asleep. And what I love to tell people is if you're falling asleep, it's because you're tired and maybe it's time for a nap. So I don't want you to hear that as harsh, or I'm like, just know what your body needs. Okay. Then once we get there, and I'm going to guide us through this, then it's time to breathe naturally, no forced breathing ever. Let's try that. So just inhale naturally and exhale naturally. Sometimes we only have time for a breath, and I want you to know that is good. And then the fifth step that we're going to walk through is noticing your body, noticing where your breath is, noticing if it's short, bringing your breath to different areas of your body as you're breathing. Any challenges that people want to share, you can pop that into the chat if you would like.
What if you're like me and have like monkey brain all the time, or like ADD? Like, there's always a million things going on, and it's like you're always trying to put out fires, and especially when I'm like running around in between patients, it's hard to find a moment to ground yourself.
Mhm.
Like what would you advise for that?
Well, I mean, it's such a good question. It'll be unique for everyone. And I love how I wrote down all the things you said: monkey brain, you know, um, a mess in the brain is another way to say it. What I would say is it's challenging to sprinkle it in and feel the impact.
Mm.
So if there's a time in your life where you can dedicate to really setting yourself up the foundation of it. So, if you did for 1 week, every morning, if you could commit to 15 minutes in the morning, then it'll be easier to do the 2 minutes in between patients. So the morning time can really set us up for the rest of the day. So I would say it's important to do it in the morning. However, if you didn't do it in the morning, don't not do it that day. Do it in the evening.
What if you're not a morning person?
Yeah, like me, right?
Like me.
So if you're not a morning person, are you saying like, what if you wake up at 11, or what if you don't feel energized? Is that it?
Like when I wake up, it's like I'm already like super focused. I have like my routine. I do this, and this to get myself to work, and get myself like I'm like, okay, I start seeing patients at this time, and I'm go. So I don't really have time, or I have not made the time to have that quiet time, that meditation in the morning, because I like my sleep, and
Hear
like
you.
and then
It's
in the
like,
evening maybe it's a little bit better for me.
I like to think of it like something in your life that you would now never give up. What is something in your life that you would now never give up? Uh,
Coffee.
right, right. So some people, it's like the thing. So if coffee is something that you would never give up, how did you even know it? It's because you tried it and then you committed to it and you found how you liked it and you found the temperature, you found the time. And so now it's become a habit. And so the thing is we can tell our minds we don't have time for things, but how do we know how sweet it is until we've actually given it our best go at it? how we do that is by changing our habits. So we never take out habits, we insert habits. And so to create a new habit, it's around writing down in your day, what are the things that you do? And when I first did this, I resisted it because I didn't want to see my life as a pattern. I was like, no, it's always different. It's not, right? And so, if your pattern is wake up and go to the computer or look at your agenda or look at your phone, it's like before that, now maybe insert a new habit. And the habit could be called meditation 15 minutes. Because if we actually look at 15 minutes of our lives, that could change the rest of our day. You probably want to do it.
I would like to just add one little comment, and it was actually a practice that I think helped contribute to my longevity as a nurse in many different fields. But I believe in breath work, and the practicing of breath does feel like a meditation because it just resets so many different mindsets and physically and relaxing you. And I used to do that between meetings. I used to do that between patients. I used to do as I was walking from one part of the critical care unit or one part of the breast center, whatever. I would just focus, particularly if it was changing one thing and then going into a meeting. So in that time it took to get there, I would just breathe. And it really helped relax so that you could reset between you're doing this with this person and now you're going to be doing that with that person. So it just helped a lot.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up. It's really a breath awareness practice. And through our breath, we can calm our nervous system, right? And really understand what's needed. And if you have 30 seconds, do 30 seconds. I wanted to share this. Oh, and then I'll look at that. Can you see this book?
Yes.
Yep.
This title is just so incredible. Wherever you go, there you are. And this one has so many different types of meditations in it that really opened up the constriction of I have to meditate for me. So I just wanted to share that. Okay, the most difficult is to slow down. Is the breathing what controls the meditation process? Well, here's what I'd like to do is I don't know if the breathing controls the meditation and it makes the meditation juicy. It's what, when we can slow down our breath and our breathing, it can slow down our thoughts and it can have us be mindful in this moment. So, in yoga, when we do the breath of fire, so it's out and in through the nose, not the mouth. And what it's doing is it's actually heating our body up from the inside so that we can purify ourselves. But then if you do alternate nostril breathing, right, left, what it's doing is regulating our breath and slowing our whole systems down. And then we're present for the rest of our day. I don't know if that answers your question, or Rosemary or Dr. Sonia, if you want to add anything.
Sounds like something that I need to incorporate more.
I just love the honesty. We all do, right? We all do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I mean, we get busy, right?
At the moments of fear or doubt or nervous or anxiety, those are the moments where we feel really alone. And those are the moments where people don't even have to know what we're doing. And we just close our eyes and we take the biggest breath in and the biggest breath out. And sometimes that makes all the difference. Let's do a meditation. Will you two stay on the screen with me though? That would be really nice.
Sure.
I like seeing faces.
Absolutely.
Okay. Committing to a new habit that just may change your life seems worth it. That, right? Especially a habit that is worthy. of your life, a habit that is life-giving, a habit that is elevating. Those ones are worth it. My Halloween candy is not a good habit that I need to keep integrating into my life. Halloween candy leftovers.
They're dangerous.
Okay. So whether you're at home and or walking, if you're walking or driving, please don't close your eyes. If you're cooking, probably not a good idea. But this will maybe inspire you at night when you have a moment, or if you're laying down right now, you know, and you have the time just to close your eyes and join us at any time. So right now, if you can, put both feet on the ground, and then your hands are resting on your lap so that your shoulders can drop down. Yeah. And whatever you're sitting on, if your sit bones can touch the chair, and lean into it. So if you would like, you can lean against a wall. There is no rule saying you have to sit in the middle of the room. That could be really challenging on our bodies, especially, you know, depending on the stages that you're in right now in your life. So sitting up, sit bones touch whatever surface they can feel. And then if you can, close your eyes. And so trust that it's a safe space to close your eyes. If you get a lot of anxiety in the darkness, then gaze at the ground. So you can get the benefits by looking down. And what that does is soften our thoughts, right? Soften your thoughts. If you can turn down your lights, please do. And then I'd love for you to take a deep breath in, whatever that means to you. Maybe deep isn't good for you. You just take a breath. An audible exhale. Now, as you sit here with your eyes down or closed, I'd love for you to focus on your breath. Notice how deep or how shallow. Notice how effortless it can be. There may be sounds in your space, and just honor all of the sounds. Anytime you lose the focus of your breath, you can come right back to it. And allow your whole body to rest. And we'll scan our bodies. So right here, just notice your breath in your feet. What does that feel like here? And then bring your awareness to your calves and your shins and your legs. And then moving your awareness up, feel your rooted sit bones into the ground or a bed. Meditation can also be really good in bed. You don't even have to leave it. And then move up to your heart, your chest, your belly, and your back. And feel so much love and attention coming in. This area can bring up a lot of emotion. So as you're meditating, you can just let tears, let the fear roll away. And then move your attention up to your throat and your neck. And just keep the breath flowing. And now over your head and your ears and your top of your head. And maybe at this point, as you breathe, you can start to see images or colors. And if you do that, just let them flow by, watching them move like the clouds, not attaching to any one thought. And then for the last minute or so, I'd love for you to see a mantra, that word that you need to hear. It can be one word, it can be a sentence. And if you can't see one here, I'll offer the two words, I am. I am. Keep the breath flowing. Let your thoughts keep moving on. And see how light you can feel here, how clear. And for the last 30 seconds, see whatever it is that you need to see or honor about yourself. Know that you are connected. You are grounded. Mhm. And then when you're ready, slowly, slowly, you can open your eyes. And if you are at home, maybe this is a nice time to write down, what did that small little slice of meditation feel like? That was 5 minutes. It goes by quick. Ah, yay. Yeah, it is so nice for someone to give me permission to slow down and relax. Hashtag self-care. How was that for you both?
It was very relaxing, and listening to your voice, it just brought me down all the more quickly. So sometimes I think I respond to somebody's voice and command much more than I listen to myself when I'm trying to do that.
Thank you for bringing that up. That is why there are so many amazing apps out there that I recommend. Some people need just a timer. Some people need someone talking through, because the silence can be scary. Because when there's silence, then we hear our thoughts even louder. Who knows, right? And so at some time, you might need different things. So the app that I like is Calm or Headspace, or find a yoga teacher who does 30 minutes of meditation in their class.
The other thing that I found helpful that was kind of new is, instead of closing your eyes, to focus on something, to look down. And I've never practiced that, and I've never heard it. And I know that I respond to looking at something to focus rather than closing my eyes. So I found that very beneficial, and something new that I learned from you, Cecily.
Oh, yay. Oh, I love that. You know, when working with people with anxiety, closing their eyes or blindfolded yoga practices do not work. Causes so much stress. I was working with a doctor. We did a retreat years ago, and they had just flown in from a very stressful work week, I'll just say. And anytime we had them close their eyes, he also said, I just can't. It's like, I just don't want to see what happens so I just thank you for bringing that up, Rosemary. And it's like this candle, one technique is to just get a flickering light and just focus on the light for 5 minutes. That could be another option.
And that's something very easily doable. I mean, that sounds way too simple.
When do we ever make the time to focus on a candle for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Very true. Yes, I find it very meditating just staring into a fireplace. Yeah.
Right.
So it's just like you could just like lose your thoughts, and then like things can wander, and you're like, oh, well, that was relaxing.
This is a real thing. Yeah, when I try to meditate, the trauma of my cancer journey comes pouring back. Thank you for sharing that. I want to say that this practice of meditation might not be time right now. And so it can also be a buzzword of like, meditate, do yoga. And I know a lot of professionals will share that with patients, with people in your lives, and say, here, this will help you. Sometimes it won't. And so I also I give people permission to cross out the word meditation for themselves. And what I like to say is connect to yourself in a healthy way, 5 minutes a day. And however you want to connect to yourself today, do that. So meditation is here. It's a tool, it's a resource, and it has so many healing benefits. And if we can quiet our mind, and that's where, you know, Dr. Sonia was saying at the beginning of like, yes, thank you. I was saying, I don't even remember what I was saying at the beginning. You and I were talking about some things, but there are so many different tools and resources, and a therapist is also a really great tool, because sometimes what we need to do is talk through it with a professional who can hear our thoughts and be there and support us. The other thing, like we were saying, a guided meditation can sometimes be easier, so you're not left alone in the dark thinking. This was excellent. Does meditation help overcome the fight or flight syndrome? It sure does. And please, you two are nurses. Please, doctors, please jump in and talk about this. But the parasympathetic nerve gets exercised, meaning you will calm down your system the more that you do this. And that's why it's, I was saying, repetition is kind of the key here, because if you can create a foundation of it and then ingrain it into your habits, things that bothered you will really become minimized. And so when I was meditating consistently, my husband would say to me, I'm so much nicer. And just for the record, I'm not meditating regularly right now. But when I do, I've been told that I am a very kind human being. And I have a lot of fears, and there's a lot of family trauma, you know, with health and all this stuff going on for me. And it quiets my mind. And I no longer want to fly. I'm not on guard as much. I'm glad
That
we
means
can all
I
laugh.
really need to do that.
Well, the benefits to your brain from meditation and from breathing in that they actually do massage good places in the brain and calm down some of the more harmful thoughts. And definitely it slows down the flight or fight response, which sometimes when you're going through treatment kind of rules your life. So you can just be charged up, and that needs to calm down, because what's beneficial during treatment is being able to relax, being able to focus on sleeping, having positive thoughts towards your treatment, because the thought process and the belief in the treatment and the positive effects of it affect your treatment, affect your healing. So practices that allow us to start giving ourselves the gift of quiet space, or a deep breath, or some time away from the thoughts is sometimes the greatest gift that you can give yourself, particularly during treatments, during health crisis, during personal crisis, because it's so easy. We seem to be culturally wired to allow negativity to bombard us during times of stress, rather than looking at stress, identifying it, and saying, perhaps I need to go stare at a candle. Perhaps I need to go look at a flower, or go feel the sun on my face for 2 minutes. Those type of practices. But the benefits for your body and your mind are terrifically.
Oh yeah.
I love that you brought that up, because that is the we need to hear something once negative thought to believe it, and 5 times positive to hear it. And so one of the techniques around repeating a positive phrase for ourselves is, one, the more you say it, we can believe it, but the repetition of something positive is the way through the challenge.
I've also heard that the saying that meditation is a muscle. So you have to continue to like use it for it to grow stronger, right? And again, it's that repetition of focusing on focusing on it as like a tool to get past our instinct to go directly to like worst case scenarios and stressors, and then like have this be that reminder that you can actually turn this around and look at it a different way. So whenever my patients go in to like get their treatment or chemo or whatnot, and they're having a bad day, I'm just like, put your positive thoughts into that bag, because that's going to go right into you, right? So put the good things in, and it's going to come in. So don't like shun it, or don't say, oh, it's bad for you, because like that energy that you put out, like, it sounds woo woo, but it's a real thing. So and people do a lot better when they put their positive thoughts into what is going to help them.
There is a book that I just read. I read a lot of books. Okay, I'll just say it. I read a lot of books. And so that's why I'm always referencing them. It's called The Emotion Code. The Emotion Code. And it talks about, have you read it?
I've heard
it's
about
a game changer.
Yes, I've heard.
Okay. You know how you said it's woo-woo to think positively? This book describes why it's not woo-woo, and it's made my woo-woo-ness feel so like, oh, it's grounded in science.
Oh my
this
gosh.
is amazing. So
I'm like, here we go.
Oh my gosh,
is that a fluorite? Oh my gosh, mine's a fluorite.
Yours is a heart. So
It is a
I
heart.
have rose quartz, but it's not here with me. Mine is rose quartz.
you do? Okay, I have my rose quartz for you here.
Oh
You have a
gosh.
lot of rose quartz.
I have my whole altar here and my sage. So
Oh wow.
energy is in everything. And so if we can start our day by cultivating the right energy, especially if we're going into stressful situations, it is a game changer for the rest of the day. Things that used to get the, hairs up on our back, now it's like, is that so? Is that so? Good news, bad, is that so? And so that's the practice that I would like to offer that I put in with my family and my team. And when I met Shay, it's this whole practice of, is that so? And sometimes we have to cultivate it in our bodies, and then the energy we put out. So someone said the comment, I never thought of mantras as positive thoughts. A mantra is a positive thought. It's a high vibration. And that's why we say the word om, aum, right? Because we're tuning our whole body. And I don't know if you've been in a yoga class, but sometimes it's like, you're like, oh, my breath is not there. And it's because we haven't worked on our breath yet today, even though we may have had over thousands of breaths already. We haven't intentionally breathed. So a mantra and a meditation gets us to sit and intentionally focus on our breath. It's like the difference between eating on the go and sitting down for a well-prepared meal that you chew your food. I laugh about this, but I'm serious. 30 times a bite. What would that even be like?
My mother's used to say that the key to maintaining weight was to chew every bite of food 30 times. Because it slows you down. You enjoy the food better. And the digestion starts in the mouth with salivary amylase. So it actually helps you digest your food better if you chew it more. I don't know how we're all alive.
It's true. So this is a mindfulness practice. I love this. In that mindfulness stress-based reduction course, one of the tools is to take a grape. And so if you are at home and you have a grape, you're welcome to do this, or a raisin, and we'll do this later. And then you look at the grape and you hold it. And guess what you want to do? Right away, if someone at home may have done this already, you eat it because you don't even think about it. You have the grape and you want to eat it because you're like salivating, right? And the trick is to hold it and meditate with the food in your hand.
Ooh.
And then what you do, if you have an orange, you peel the orange, and then you take one bite, or you take a bite of the grape and you just crunch it. And guess what we want to do? Swallow it. Then you chew the food and you smell it, right? And then what you do is you witness it going down, and then you sit with it, feeling it inside. And so what I tend to do is eat without witnessing. And so meditation is the practice of witnessing your thoughts and your breath. Okay. I feel like I've just said a lot.
You have.
But it's all true. So, and it's all beneficial.
I have to say, I've heard a lot of meditation presentations and had different experiences with it. I think that your grasp of meditation and life and practices and providing the rationale behind them is the most informed that I've ever heard. And I just am enjoying this evening. I knew I'd enjoy it, but I had no idea how much I'd learn and enjoy as well. I have to thank you.
Thank you. That means the world to me. Thank you so much. I feel like we should address this comment.
Yes. So now that you've completed content, this is the time for a change. So anyone who has a question or a comment or maybe a little something to share, we're down to about 12 minutes right now. This is your time. So we're opening up the studio to you.
Love that.
But in the meantime, for Jason,
Yes. So
it is
Jason
kind of
had a
being,
question.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get
Okay. Could it go back up? Because I want to see the whole thing. Can
Yeah,
you
there we
view
go.
meditation like a timeout for adults? So when a day is not going good or you are dealing with many things, is this a time to meditate? So here's what I want to say. You know how someone was mentioning fight or flight? I'd like to bring in the Dan Spiegel flipping your lid. And so if this is our brain, and anytime we react, this is what our brain is doing, right? This fight or flight. And what we can start to do is control our thoughts. Meditation is a technique. However, if we're already like this, meditation might not be the thing because our voice in our head might be too loud. So what I like to say is, if you're in reaction, this fight or flight, go for a walk, just leave a room, come back in, or take a deep breath. And then when you feel like you've settled and you put your lid back on, then drop into meditation like the dessert for you. So it's not our time out. It's like your meditation time is sacred. And if you have little kids or if you have people that you live with, who, wherever you are, as soon as you tell people, I'm out, I'm going to meditate, that is sacred and it's uninterrupted time for you. So it's like your bubble bath.
So it's almost like a reset, not so much like a timeout.
I think it's hard to meditate if we're in our reactions.
I found a grounding exercise. I can't remember how I was introduced to it, but I've done a little bit of reading on it and practicing, and I'd like to share it because sometimes that transition from being in the fight or flight or in those very stressful, high craziness situations, but you know what you need to do, but you can't get there. And I think that this is probably something that might be helpful for when scan anxiety, just changing your pace and grounding yourself. So identify 5 things that you can see. You probably know this one, Cecily, you probably is.
Oh, this is so great. I love it.
It's 5 things that you can see, then 4 things that you can feel. I can feel my hair, I can feel my shirt. 3 things that you can hear. 2 things that you can smell. And 1 thing you can taste. So that, when you go through that identification, when you just start looking around a little bit and spotting things, and then it's like, ooh, what can I touch? What can I, it's all of our 5 senses getting incorporated to slow our brain down and to put us in a different place. And, it's just a very logical progression. It's, you can see a lot more than you can touch, than you can taste. So it's just, lovely.
I love that you brought that up. And, we touched our crystals, and this is one of my practices that I bring everywhere. And some people put it in their water bottles, or if you wear a bra, it's like, just put it on you somewhere so it's always with you, pocket. And I think this goes to the touch. What are the things you can touch to calm you down? Lots of practice tips. I love this.
Okay. Well, I think that we should probably, if there aren't any other questions, we still have maybe a minute or so to get those questions in. Or comments.
That's a lovely comment. So practical. It's been amazing. I agree.
Yes.
That's the whole thing, right? We want to make these practices human and not like a vision of a life that we want to live that we're not living. Like, oh, in my next life, I'd be a yogi, meditating for hours. It's like, guess what? Do it now. Let's meditate 3 minutes. Yeah.
So for our audience, Where is the best way to reach you if they want more information about your practice, or like, do you have a contact information for people?
I think the easiest way to get a hold of me is my full name on Instagram. So at Cecily Elmas. And please reach out. People sometimes feel like they're bothering me. It's never a bother. This healing, trauma, vision, yoga, meditation, mindfulness. This is my jam. Business, like, please reach out.
I just Googled you, and then that led to your website as well.
Oh, great.
Excellent. I just followed you on Instagram, so
let's be friends. Oh my gosh,
yes.
I love this.
Oh, there we go. Here's the Instagram at Cecily Elmas. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah,
Excellent.
you. The other thing I will mention, and this is not a plug for my journal, so just know that, but I created this journal called Journey Inward, and it takes you on a journey. Shay has one. A lot of people, including myself, need prompts. And so as you go into this practice of self-inquiry and healing, and we can feel alone, and I brought that into meditation, sometimes a journal with prompts is what we need. And in this journal, you can decide where you go. You don't start at the front, and you don't have to go page to page. Maybe you just need to be curious. And so you open up to the curiosity chapter. And so I want you to know I created that to help people heal. So this is here as a resource for you too.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We will also be putting your information on the Shays Warriors website as well, so people can find you there. And then, of course, our Talk, Listen, Shares now live on our YouTube channel, as well as our Facebook page. So all of our past Talk, Listen, Shares can also be found there as well. And we've done some Talk, Listen, Shares specifically on breath work, on meditation, and other ways and tools of getting to a quieter space. And so you can find all of that information and all of those videos on YouTube and Facebook as well. So I just want to take this time again to thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Cecily, for your time and your expertise, and your sharing such fabulous tips and practical steps for all of us. And the reminder that I definitely need to get into this more.
I'll text you reminders, Dr. Fun.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. I love it. I love it. So if you, our community, find this information helpful for you, please share this with other cancer survivors, our other cancer community members. And again, if you also want to donate to Shays Warriors, we are all volunteer board. This is our time that we give to you freely and with love. So thank you again for supporting us, and we're here to support you as well. And you can go to shayswarriors.org to show your support as well. So next, I want to say, let's see, next topic. What is our next topic?
I think we're taking a Thanksgiving break. Is that correct?
We are. We are going to take a Thanksgiving break. We will have a special video for you all, but look for that in 2 Wednesdays on the 24th. It will not be live, but we will have a special message for all of you. So thank you again for joining us tonight. Thank you again, Cecily. Thank you so much, Rosemary. And please come join us every second and fourth Wednesday of the month at 5:30.
So nice.